Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Diller. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good. I'm good. Another wonderful Sunday here in the upstate.
Yes, it is. And as you can see, we have another guest with us today. We've had Mr. Sapp on here before. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing well. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Thank you for having me again, man. I appreciate you.
We appreciate you being on here. This is our post-NFL draft special. We're going to have Ricky talk a little NFL with us. Obviously, he might know a little bit more about that than me and Bailey. We're going to talk literacy as well, believe it or not. That's right, kids, literacy. And there's some interesting announcements in the world of sports that have come out recently, and we'll definitely catch up on all of Clemson's spring sports. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and all forms of social media. The Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around with 2 locations in the upstate to serve you. One's at 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at ReubenC.com. Reuben's is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans and especially Tiger fans.
Especially Tiger fans that are trying to stay in shape and stuff. All right, today we have former Clemson and NFL linebacker Ricky Sapp with us. He was with Clemson back in the 06 to 09 time frame, 2010 draft pick by the Eagles, which has something in common with, another Clemson family member, obviously. My man's a dancer, a podcaster, motivational speaker, and now he's an author, and we'll get to talking about that. Ricky, we appreciate you being on here. How you doing again this evening?
Man, I'm doing good, man. If I was doing any better, I promise I would be you guys.
Even though I've heard that before now, I still like hearing it. So you can't go wrong. All right, so let me make sure I got all my tickers up here since we're going to talk draft. So
there we go.
Watch this all weekend. Male's best available. Now on this show, my wife's name is Melanie. So this is male's best available now that the draft is over. The number one next available would be me. I just don't have any.
It probably depends on what positions you're looking for.
Easy now. This is still a family show, baby.
I mean, you want a lineman, or you want, somebody that's almost a lineman, but not quite.
Almost not quite. Yeah. All right. Either way, we're the best 2 available. Ricky, you're number 3.
I'll take 3. I appreciate that. I'll take 3.
All right. So we're going to start like we do with the Fun Fans. This is the Fun Fans show. We said last week that they're making a big deal with the fan experience. And I was saying we're on to something. And I really think that the NFL, and especially if you were even halfway paying attention and thinking about it this way, they're really going out of their way to make the draft as big of a deal as they possibly can. I mean, they got the whole NFL experience stuff there for the families and the kids. And, obviously they've got the crowd. They set a record with the crowd. I think they said there was 225,000 people on that first night.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
It's just wild. And they're even doing did y'all see the skit with they were going to bring the Detroit players out, right, to help start the draft with old Roger. And they did a skit with him when they were talking about how we know you're going to get booed and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought that was funny. And then he comes out with Eminem. So they're doing some serious hype. And of course there's the nationwide commercial with Peyton Manning where they're drilling to get ready to get drafted. I can foresee the draft commercials trying to be a same kind of deal with the Super Bowl commercials. It might not cost as much, but anyway,
not to mention that every city has their own draft party.
Right.
And like a guy that I work with, his brother actually works for the Cardinals, and he's in charge of the entertainment at the draft parties. So he was talking about it depends on where they pick and how many picks they have on what type of bands they get to fill in the spot. So it's actually pretty cool to think about. Yeah. It's just a big production in every city.
Well, it's all about the fans, man. You got to get the fans involved. You got to keep them engaged. So it's all about them. So I love it.
That's right. And the NFL knows what pays the bills. Eyes.
Oh, amen.
Eyes on pays the bills. And they're trying to get more eyes. Yes. I'm not getting political, but I don't know if Putin or Roger is trying to take over the world. But did y'all notice? I mean, they're doing picks from Germany and Spain and just cities all over the world. I mean, it's
Well, I mean, they're trying to go global with
Yeah.
the whole league anyway.
Yeah.
So they're playing in Brazil this year.
Yeah.
that'll be. They
Pretty
got it
cool.
going on. So, all right. So, on to the picks. Just we're not going to obviously go through every one of them or nothing real quick. But the first three were quarterbacks: Caleb Williams, and apparently our prediction, our hidden mic. If you saw last week's show, the Fun Fans hidden mic was a little bit off, but that's okay. So Caleb Williams went to the Bears, Jaden Daniels to the Commanders. The Patriots got Drake May, and then the first non-quarterback was Marvin Harrison Jr. Was anything in that first bit of the first round stand out to either one of y'all?
Well, I mean, they set a record for the longest time it took to draft a defensive player.
Yeah, that's crazy.
14 picks before they drafted a defensive player was a record.
Yep, I noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is this. I think 6 quarterbacks, like in the top 10, top 12, something like that.
It was so the first three, and so to go quarterback 3 in a row was like only the third time that had ever happened, and been the first time in a while.
Yeah,
and yeah, so number 8 was Penix
yeah.
to the Falcons, and that one
was
got a
surprise.
lot of attention.
Yeah.
So they just spent,
Kirk Cousins was he was taken off guard too.
yeah, $160 million.
Yeah.
And then they take Michael Penix. But I mean, I think what we normally say on this show is those guys know what they have some kind of plan.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. You know, the fans don't always see everything, especially if you're not a Falcons fan, but that definitely took everybody by surprise. And of course, let's see. The first Clemson player went in the first round.
Yep, Big Nate.
Yep.
Nate Wiggins to the Ravens. So number 30.
So the Ravens defense just got better.
And they got faster because that kid can run. That kid can run.
He can play. And so our Panthers, they didn't have a pick. They traded to get a first round pick, right?
Right.
And picked up a player from our friends down in Columbia. So they also had a first round pick. All right. So speaking of the Clemson players, you got Nate Wiggins going to Baltimore, round 2, pick 35 overall, which was very early. Rook or Hororo. I don't know if I said that right or not, but that's how I've been saying it all these years.
Aurora. Yeah.
He went to the Falcons, and then Shipley got picked in the 4th round to the Eagles. And then no offense, Ricky, but my favorite Clemson player, which I guess it's a current, I'm gonna say he's one of my current.
Your
Xavier.
Recent Clemson.
Yeah, my recent favorite Clemson player. I don't know, which I hadn't. That I just enjoyed watching him play when X was out there.
Yeah,
it was like if he decided he wanted to stop the offense, he could almost single-handedly do it. So he's unreal. So I think the Cardinals got a gem, in the 5th round.
Yeah,
and then Trotter to the Eagles, and then Tyler Davis to the Rams. So that's pretty good for Clemson, I guess, and pretty good spots for those players.
I think it's great. I'll tell you this though, and I'll be honest with you. Tyler Davis is a second round guy. And I honestly thought that he was going to go before everybody besides Nate. I really did. So the fact that he went that late, and the Rams got him, they got to steal because he is a war daddy. He goes. So I was kind of surprised he went that late. I really was. And
what kind of cool story is that for Jeremiah Trotter to go and get drafted by the same team as his dad?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That is truly awesome.
So
he can play too. There's a lot of them that can play.
He
can flat out play.
Yeah.
And then the same team as Shipley. So I think Shipley will be able to. I think all these guys are going to contribute right away. I don't think any of them. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. If you start getting picked in the later rounds, do you have to worry about still making the team, or are you pretty much locked in?
Well,
go ahead, Ricky.
You definitely have to worry about making the team when you get picked later. But you guys know, man, most times a lot of the best talent comes in the later rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all these guys that got picked by from Clemson, I think all of them would be able to contribute right away. I really do.
I agree.
Yeah, I really do.
I mean, worst case scenario, you're on the practice squad and you're ready to be on the roster the next week because guys are going to get hurt. You know, you're going to need
right.
So,
all right. So speaking of the draft, and I know we've interviewed Ricky before. You can go find that show, but tell us your draft story though, Ricky, real quick, since we're talking about the draft back in 2010.
Man, you know what's so cool about that question? You asked me that. I just found something out about my draft a couple months ago. So 2010, I was projected to go late first to the Patriots at 28. I was projected to go there. I ended up going in the 5th round. I had a draft party at my godmother's house, all my friends and family and everybody like that. I don't know if you guys remember, the Patriots had the 28th pick. So when their pick came up, they traded down, and the Cowboys, I think, took their pick, and the Cowboys drafted Dez Bryant. So the Patriots wanted me or this other guy from Texas, but they didn't get either of us. So they end up trading down to pick in the 2nd round. I'm not sure who they got. I fell to the 5th round, got drafted to the Eagles, and it was an amazing feeling. You know, it was an amazing feeling. I can remember, kind of being down and out about it, but still to this day, I remember my aunt, my mother, my father's sister, Aunt Cindy. She walks in, and when she walked in, I got the call from the Eagles, and she said this. She said, "God sent me." so you could get that phone call. So it was definitely an amazing time, man, to share that moment with my family, to see my mom crying. It was definitely awesome.
Well, that's definitely one thing I like about, it's live drama. Is the NFL draft, and they're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
They're making it's reality TV.
Yes.
You love seeing the expressions and the reactions and all the family, and they interview mom or dad or both right away. And it's just really cool. The outfits are usually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's a made for TV event because they put 10 minutes on the clock between picks. When the team that's on the clock has already gone for months and ranked these guys in order of how they want, how they think they fall, and they've already had all those discussions. So they built in that time to say, all right, we're going to run this story, and we're going to talk to these parents, and we're going to do this, and that's fine. That draft could go a lot quicker if it wasn't such a big deal for television.
Yeah. The NFL. Just one more thing about the draft and how fun it was. I noticed, and this was not the first night, so I don't know about the first night, but the Detroit Lions war room where the coach and the GM and all those guys are in there, they were wearing football jerseys. Did y'all notice that?
I didn't notice that. That's crazy.
So they go to the other rooms, and those guys are in their shirts and ties and coats and everything, and these guys are in their football jerseys. And I just love that. I've heard stories. They did really well.
Well, that wasn't the first night because Dan Campbell had on. He was dressed.
So yeah, it wasn't the first night, but the rest of them. And I've heard that he's, how he's changed the culture up there and that kind of thing. And that seemed to fit. And I thought that was cool and really fun. But anyway, so we got Ricky on here to talk a little football, and he's also got something else going on. So he has written a book. And so just a couple of questions about that, Ricky. What made you decide to write a book, and before we necessarily talk about it?
Well, you know what? When I got into doing motivational speaking, people would always say, "Where's your book?" Because most motivational speakers, they come with a book. So when people would say that to me, I was like, "A book? I don't plan on writing a book." But as people continue to say that to me, I started to think about my story and how I got into playing football. How my journey was. And, a couple of years ago, man, I started writing down things. And then, last year I had the opportunity to meet some authors at Clemson, and I wrote my story. I turned it into a PowerPoint. I took it to a school in my hometown. I read it to some kids, got some feedback, and I was like, yeah, it's time for me to get this thing published. So here I am today. I finally got it out, and it's up and running.
So where can we get a copy of it?
It's right now it is #1 on Amazon right now. So you can go to Amazon and get it. And it's called Dream Big. And it's my story about how I got into playing football, how I got in trouble, got kicked out of school in middle school, and then how I got to high school, and I had a village of people around me that helped me make the changes that was necessary, and then how I went from wanting to play in big stadiums like Clemson, and then how I made it to the NFL, and then how I graduated and how I finished. So it's a kids book, and it's for kids from 1st to 5th grade.
Okay.
1st to 5th. Very good.
1st to 5th grade. Yep.
Awesome. Well, that's a huge accomplishment. Not many people can say that they're published.
Man.
So congratulations for sure.
Thank you. It hasn't really hit me yet, man. I'm still kind of, I'm just, man, I don't know. It hasn't hit me yet. Maybe eventually it will. But right now I can't believe that I'm an author, but I am thankful. I really am.
Well, I don't have a copy because I saw it on social media.
Yeah.
And before I'm like, we need to get Ricky on and he can talk about his book. But I wanted to go and do it today because we just had the NFL draft and, with your ties to the NFL. So I don't have a copy to hold it with me. But when I get mine, I'll post it and tag you.
I appreciate that, man.
Because I'm, sometimes I act a little bit like a 1st to 5th grader. And
hey, we all do at times.
That's right. We run into those every once in a while too, Bailey, don't we?
Yes, we do.
That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna put the picture back up there one more time. So find it on Amazon. Dream Big by Ricky Sapp. If you just search it, I think there's probably a couple of books with that same title. So look for the one with
by Ricky Sapp.
By Ricky Sapp, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like a card catalog. That's why they have all those details in there. All right. Very good. So we appreciate you being on, and we'll post when I post the show and everything. And it's been really cool since we've met to stay in touch. And like Ricky said, he's also a motivational speaker. He was at Pendleton High School recently.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for somebody, especially with his energy, he hangs right in there with middle school kids, and that's hard to find. So if you have a middle school and you're looking for a motivational speaker, find him. He's not that hard to find on social media. And he will be your man. But we appreciate you being on with us tonight.
Man, thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys, man.
Have a good evening.
You too.
How cool is that?
Good guy right there.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. And he wrote a book.
I'm gonna get a copy of it.
Oh, without a doubt. Hopefully I'm assuming I can afford it.
Yeah.
Paperback, maybe. All right. If we're done talking about the draft, or we're still the first next to best available, but
hold up.
Uh-oh. This just in.
There's a trade. Somebody has traded up so they could draft me first.
Then we got to switch it. That'd be Jay's best available.
Yes.
All right. So what else we got to talk about? I'm gonna tell you, with Ricky on here, it's like he's like a human dubby. But if you don't have energy like Ricky, just go to w.gg, enter promo codes FunFans, get 10% off for your Jitterless energy drink. Most people need a little pick me up, but that man generally does not. All right, so Clemson sports. Did you watch?
No, you're gonna have to go over this because I've been booked all weekend.
So they've had some drama in Louisville.
I did see some of the game Friday night briefly.
So Clemson took the series today. They got up big early and actually 10-run ruled them in the 7th inning, 17-7. But yesterday they had a player. We were winning and it was close, and they took the lead, and the kid hits a home run, and he runs his mouth basically as he goes around the bases. I don't know if he got a warning, but I think everybody it was one of those things where it was just time for a warning, but it was, got everybody aggravated. And they even today they were like, it was like Clemson came out mad and put up like 11 runs in the first 4 innings, and from that point on, the whooping was on. And then, but one of our players, catcher, he hits a home run kind of later in the game, tosses the bat. So they're kind of getting on to him for it. Wasn't a toss. It wasn't really exaggerated. It just gave a little flip.
Right.
But the commentators were saying it was towards the Louisville bench. Well, if they're at the first base side, if you're hitting, and where else are you supposed to throw if you're going to flip the bat, are you supposed to flip it back towards your own dugout, which is behind you?
You should drop the bat.
You're not supposed to flip the bat at all. Okay.
A bat flip is like, I hit that one.
Yeah, so, he did too. I think it about landed in my house.
Right.
But and he got ejected. So, and I think they paused before they shook hands. Yeah. At the end of the game. So nothing like a little drama up there with the baseball team in Louisville. I think they have one more series in the conference.
Yeah, I think so.
Before they get into postseason.
The tournament.
Softball is done. Do you know who got the final out of the regular season for the Clemson softball team?
Must be our friend Brooke, because Matt can't play.
That's right.
That's right.
Podcast guest. So she got the final strikeout of the regular season for the softball team. I think they're in the top half of the conference and will be heading into conference. They took the series at Louisville as well this weekend. So they did that. So get out and watch some baseball and softball and support. If Clemson's not your team, support your team. It's a good time of year. The weather's great. And the tournaments and the regionals and all that kind of stuff, that's about as cool and fun of college sports as you can get into. So
yeah, and the ACC tournament for baseball is actually in Charlotte again. So
nice. They play at the
Knight Stadium.
At the Knight Stadium?
Truist Field.
Okay. Very cool. All right. So a couple of other announcements in the sports world. Have you heard of the new name for the minor league baseball team, speaking of baseball, in Columbia, South Carolina?
I have not.
They're going to be the Grits. This actually made ESPN. So and those guys, they put on the jersey with the grit, and it's literally a little bowl with eyes and I guess a spoon.
Does it have butter and cheese in it?
Well, that's the only way to make it, right?
I would think so, yeah.
So
I can do one better than that.
All right, let's hear it.
So Gastonia, North Carolina, right up the road, has this really sweet new, couple years old. It's a park. It's made for this. It's an independent league baseball team. These are guys that have either played all the way up AA, AAA, major leagues and on their way down, or they're young guys who are trying out for teams and just saying, hey, I got these independent league stats and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But so they were called the Honey Hunters, like a little badger.
Okay.
Now this year, every homestand, they're wearing a different uniform. And so the fans at the end of the year will pick their favorite, and that's what they will be moving forward.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah, so they're going to have like 6 or 8 different uniforms or different mascots throughout the season.
I think maybe the Savannah Bananas got so popular that the other folks are trying to catch on some kind of.
Yeah, but it's because they got moves like Jagger.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely fun to watch. So, all right, speaking of baseball, Bailey, give us an O's update.
They blew a save again today. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Oakland A's. But they're still right there at the top of the American League East with a 4-game series starting tomorrow with the evil empire, the New York Yankees. So let's go O's.
Let's go O's. Hopefully they keep doing well, because that'll make it better to do the updates, unlike our UFL teams, which, I hate to say I'm giving up on our UFL teams, but I think
have they canceled the rest of that league yet?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
okay.
I think they're doing okay, but our teams are not now. But it is playoff hockey season. I need to start doing a Bruins update, because I keep up with the Bruins, at least in the postseason.
And we have the NBA playoffs going on too, but let's be real. Let's wait till closer to the end because it'll be middle of June.
Yeah.
Before that happens.
All right. So a couple other announcements. This is our 98th episode. So
Nice.
those of you who need help, next Sunday will be our 99th episode. Bailey and I are this is a time of year. Let's just say it's a little busy for high school administrators, late spring with playoffs and whatnot. We want to wish the Blazers and the Blue Eagles all the best of luck as various teams go into the postseason. My daughter will be throwing in her first ever region track meet coming up on Wednesday and Thursday at Liberty High School. So,
all right,
best of luck to her. But we are only doing Sunday shows. So, next Sunday will be 99, and we will keep you posted on the huge announcement for the 100th episode and a big
is that Mother's
time.
Day? Does that fall on Mother's Day?
Yeah, and I don't know how that's going to work out. So,
we're gonna have a show at 8:00. It's 100. What are you doing at 8:00 on Mother's Day? The Mother's Day's almost over at that point.
Yeah, this is true. We'll have to see. But another thing that happens in the spring, and speaking of my daughter, she hit 2 proms this week. So we had the Blazer prom, the GMC prom Friday, and then she went with a friend to the Dorman Cavalier prom Saturday.
Wow, back to back.
Look how underdressed I am.
Yeah, you look good there. Look very comfortable.
Yep. But she looked great and had a good time and came home safe 2 nights in a row, and that's the most important thing. So hope you had a good time, Grayson. All right.
Did they go out to eat both nights, like fancy?
Yes, sir. So they went to, and this will be a shout out to Rick Irwin's in various locations across the upstate. But Grayson works at Rick Irwin's, so she didn't go to the one she works at, but she got like a 50% discount.
Nice.
So the people she went with may have paid, larger sums of money, but she got off pretty good. And then they went to Dre Bar and Grill in Spartanburg. If that's a local place, if you're from around here, you're probably familiar with it, on Saturday night for the Dorman prom. So I don't know how pricey it is, but it's definitely not cheap. Both of them are really good places, so highly recommend. If you just went to Reuben's earlier that same day or maybe the day before only though. So for sure. But yeah, so they did it up 2 nights in a row. Sweet. And they had a great time. Just like everybody did that listened to this show. I'm kind of not really already looking forward. I'm looking forward to the football season with the draft, but I thought the draft was fun. We definitely appreciate Ricky Sapp joining us, and be sure and go and grab a copy of his book for the 1st through 5th grader that you know, and go enjoy some spring sports at Clemson or your favorite university. Those things come and go. But thanks again for checking us out each and every Sunday. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social media and share, and also reach out and become a sponsor on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, J Thriller Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for listening.
It's about to be May.
It is.
Go
Pool's
Tigers.
open.